This guy is the world's second strongest player, but a random person's pet slaps the shit out of him. When the owner finds their pet cat, the poor player are completely dumbfounded, and the owner is none other than our protagonist. It all began that year, when a game known as Earth's Will merged with reality itself. Monsters and NPCs from every faction descended upon the world at the same time, plunging humanity into extreme danger. Thankfully, all humans were granted player status. Everyone awakened as a beginner, gaining the basic ability to fight monsters. Everyone except poor protagonist Xia Ye. Full of excitement, Xia tapped the login screen, expecting his journey to begin, but nothing happened. A sense of unease crept over him, a sharp beep code. In the next instant, the system displayed a message stating that player character creation had failed, followed by automatic logout. After being forcefully disconnected, Xia remembered what he had already noticed earlier. He could not equip even a simple wooden stick, could not gain experience, could not level up, and could not even open his status panel. Despair washed over him. In a world ruled by monsters and power, an ordinary human stood no chance of survival. What was he supposed to do now? A faint chuckle echoed from somewhere, but Xia forced himself to stay calm. He had always been an optimist. Since things had already turned out this way, panicking would not help. His immediate plan was simple: find a safe place to hide. Opening his backpack, he discovered that only a few beginner healing potions remained. He fell into deep thought. Should he rush toward the safe zone, or perhaps ask nearby players to lend him a shield? Just as Xia hesitated, something strange appeared in the sky behind him. A deafening roar thundered through the air. In the very next moment, an overwhelming presence descended behind him. Xia froze and slowly turned around. Was this a field boss? As the smoke dispersed, his vision cleared, revealing the truth. Standing there was Belial, the first of the demon lords, a terrifying level 97s rank monster. How could such an existence appear here? Even more shocking, she was barely wearing anything. Acting on instinct, Xia pulled out his phone and snapped a photo. Belial, however, seemed unconcerned. She was scanning the surroundings, clearly searching for something. This is the place. This is where the Demon King descended. Her gaze landed on the convenience store, matching the memory from her dream. Excitement surged through her as she pulled out a portrait she had drawn herself. It was the image of the Demon King, who appeared in her prophecy. The moment she looked at his face, her expression softened completely. So handsome. I cannot wait to finally meet you. Unfortunately, nearby adventurers shattered her mood. They could not understand why such a powerful boss had spawned right in front of them at the very beginning of the game, but Belial had no intention of explaining. For them, this was pure misfortune. In the next second, she activated her skill, Absolute Domain. An invisible force expanded outward, spreading hundreds of meters with Belial at its core. Instantly, the adventurers' bodies detonated into nothingness. Witnessing the massacre, Xia nearly lost control of his fear. He clamped a hand over his mouth, terrified that even the sound of his breathing would give him away. But it was already too late. Belial noticed him. Someone had survived her attack. Her eyes locked onto Xia as she slowly walked straight toward him. At that instant, a streak of golden lightning suddenly descends from above, striking straight toward Belial. She instantly jumps aside as the lightning crashes down. A figure emerges before her, saying that Belial is still as violent as ever. Belial, enraged, says that the one who shattered the ground the moment things started has no right to say that. The newcomer is Roland, the strongest warrior of humanity, known as humanity's hope. Belial points directly at him and shouts, "What are you doing here?" Roland says that obviously, he was here to ambush the newly born Demon King. Although the prophecy showed a vision, Roland is not completely certain this is the exact location. He scans his surroundings. Then his gaze lands on a convenience store. Looks like this is the right place. Meanwhile, Belial, fiercely protective, immediately enters berserk mode, saying that she will never allow anyone to lay a hand on the Demon King. She snaps her whip forward, launching a relentless attack at Roland. Facing Belial's non-stop whip strikes, Roland effortlessly evades each blow. Soon after, he summons his weapon. As the fierce battle rages on, Xia hides behind a rock, his mind filled with panic and confusion. Who am I? Where am I? I am terrified. Before long, Belial's health drops dangerously low. You think this is enough to defeat me? Belial says, and at the thought of the Demon King, Belial's health bar suddenly surges upward. Warning. Belial has entered phase 2. Attack power increased by 20%. Control effects disabled. She leaps high above Roland's head. Cold sweat breaks out across Roland's body. Roland thinks that he cannot die at the hands of this madwoman. There is only one option. He pulls an item from his chest and holds it up toward Belial. The once rampaging Belial freezes instantly, her expression turning dazed and infatuated. The portrait that had been knocked away during the battle had been picked up by Roland. Seizing the opportunity, Roland slaps Belial hard across the face, sending her flying flying and crashing down right beside Xia. For the already mentally shaken Xia, this scene is the final blow. Belial struggles to sit up and sees that her treasured Demon King portrait has been destroyed by Roland. Her fury reaches an unprecedented level. Just as she is about to completely lose control, she suddenly locks eyes with the trembling Xia. Xia freezes on the spot. In the next moment, everything changes. Seeing Xia, Belial becomes excited and says that her dear Demon King has finally appeared and that she has finally waited for him. Before she can finish speaking, a flash of steel cuts through the air. The joy on Belial's face freezes forever. Blood splatters everywhere, and the horrifying sight causes the mentally fragile Xia to foam at the mouth and faint from sheer terror. After killing Belial, Roland begins preparing traps, planning to eliminate the Demon King the instant he descends and steps into them. After all, a newly born, initial-level Demon King should be easy prey. Just as Roland turns to locate the exact spot, he notices Xia lying unconscious on the ground. Roland stops dead in his tracks. The air around him feels completely frozen. When did the Demon King arrive? He was behind me the entire time. Roland immediately activates his perception skill. Perception failed. Skill enhancement activated. After pushing his perception skill all the way to level 39, perception successful. Target level exceeds 4 digits. Cannot be detected. Health exceeds measurable limits. Cannot be detected. Status cannot be detected. Title: World Destroyer. An overwhelming sense of terror floods Roland's body. Even if he were at full health, death would be unavoidable in this situation. His entire life flashes before his eyes as he watches Xia slowly stand up. Only one thought remains. It is over. This is the end. Red flames begin gathering in Xia's hands. In Roland's imagination, he hears that an insignificant human dared to harm Bile, that the Demon King is enraged, and that the world will be reduced to ashes. Yet what actually appears in Xia's hand is a small bottle filled with red liquid, a beginner health potion. Roland is stunned, his fear turning into confusion. Xia scratches his head awkwardly and says that Roland's health looks really low, that this is all he has, and asks if he would like to drink it, if he does not mind. Roland stares at the potion bottle in his hand, his thoughts racing. This has to be poison. He's definitely trying to avenge his subordinate. With his strength, killing me directly would be effortless. Yet instead, he's making me drink this. He must want me to suffer instead of dying quickly. His imagination runs wild, picturing himself writhing in agony as the poison eats away at him. What a vile Demon King. He glances at the bottle protagonist is holding and hesitates. Drink it or don't. If I refuse, I'll probably be killed on the spot. But if I pretend I don't realize anything, maybe there's still a slim chance to survive. Making his decision, Roland activates a tribute enhancement, lifts the bottle, and drinks it in one go. Your HP has increased by 50%. It turns out to be nothing more than a basic beginner health potion. Xia scratches his head apologetically. This really is all I had in my bag. Roland clutches his chest as if he has narrowly escaped death. That nearly gave me a heart attack. That despicable Demon King really knows how to toy with people. Meanwhile, Xia looks genuinely excited. Even if it's just a beginner potion, at least you're no longer in critical condition. Roland freezes for a moment, then checks his health bar. It really has recovered. Once he regains his composure, he lets out a tired sigh and asks, "So, what do you actually want from me?" Protagonist rubs his chin thoughtfully. There really is something he wants to know. How do I reach the nearest beginner safe zone? Roland nearly suspects his ears are playing tricks on him, but Xia continues muttering, "You know, the kind of place where low-level people without combat ability can slowly train and grow stronger." Understanding dawns on Roland. So that's his plan. The Demon King wants to sneak into the safe zone, the birthplace of newly awakened adventurers. He intends to wipe them out before they grow strong. Absolutely despicable. But do you really think I'd betray them just to save myself? In the very next moment, Roland chooses survival. He turns and starts guiding Xia toward the safe zone, silently reassuring himself. After all, I'm humanity's one and only hope. Thank you so much. You're truly a good person, Xia says earnestly. Roland waves him off with a strained smile. Inside, his thoughts turn cold. Damn it. Once we reach the safe zone and I report this to the higher-ups, I'll find an opportunity to deal with you. Suddenly, a horrifying demon descends from above. Without hesitation, Roland raises his weapon and smashes it down. More monsters soon pour out of the sky, many already injured. Creatures at this level are no real threat to Roland. Then, one monster suddenly charges at Xia, roaring something that sounds like, "Boss," in demon tongue. Roland narrows his eyes and watches closely. Is he finally going to make a move? This would be the perfect moment to observe his combat abilities. Instead, Xia collapses straight into Roland's arms, shaking violently. "Save me." The monster reaches them in the same instant. Roland immediately activates Burst Sword, triggering a massive explosion behind them. Looking down at Xia, Roland can't help but grumble internally. Even now, when the attacks are this fierce, he refuses to act. Is this the natural confidence of someone overwhelmingly powerful? What Roland fails to notice is that Xia is genuinely terrified. Roland thinks he clearly possesses unmatched power, yet he hasn't realized that I'm the one fated to kill him in the end. Still lost in his own thoughts, Roland smirks slightly. With this kind of luck, maybe I should buy a lottery ticket tonight. Then he remembers the weight clinging to him. Can you let go? I can't even walk like this. Seeing Roland fight while already low on health, Shia hurriedly opens his backpack, searching for anything useful. Everything inside came from Belial earlier. Before that, Shia had pointed at Belial's corpse and asked, "Can I take these?" When Roland said he didn't need them, Shia happily looted everything. Shia pulls out a bikini set, legendary equipment. All of a sudden, he stiffens and urgently motions for Roland to come over. Among the loot is a book titled The Domineering Demon King Fell in Love with Me. Just reading a few lines makes both of them blush. Protagonist sighs inwardly. If anyone else had found this, they'd be showing it off already. Such amazing luck, and yet I can't equip any of it. Watching Roland in the distance as he continues grinding monsters, Shia silently vows to become as strong as him someday. Moments later, Roland returns, breathing heavily. He says, "The safe zone is over there." Protagonist freezes as his eyes land on the scene ahead. Meanwhile, on the demon side, news of Belial's failure throws them into chaos, like ants scrambling on a scorching pan. Should they send someone else to welcome the descended Demon King? Yet only Belial had ever seen the Demon King's appearance through the prophetic dream. Even she had failed, so how were they supposed to locate him now? At that moment, a calm voice cuts through the panic. The speaker is Mammon, one of the 7 demon lords. Stay calm. Before Belial died, she left behind a clue. With it, we will be able to identify the Demon King. Just then, Babylon, another of the 7 demon lords, rises to his feet. Your arrival could not be better. According to reports from the intelligence demon, after Roland killed Belial, he departed from the Demon King's descent location with someone accompanying him. Mammon pauses to think. If that is the case, then the person Roland brought along is extremely likely to be the Demon King. Babylon produces a photograph sent back by the intelligence demon, showing the appearance of that individual. He presents it to Mammon with both hands. Mammon stares at the image in silence for several seconds, then casually tosses it into the trash. Good. At least the Demon King was not captured by Roland and remains safe. There is no time to waste. Mobilize every force we have. We must locate the Demon King immediately. On the other side, the protagonist surveys the crowd-filled streets, an uncontrollable smile spreading across his face. So this is the safe zone. There are so many people here. Roland glances at Shia's expression and nearly laughs. This guy's acting is flawless, but he has no idea what awaits him next. The entire Kangcheon University city is a massive trap. It is under divine protection and equipped with a system device known as Burt Gang, capable of sealing all monster abilities within the area. Even the strongest monsters become helpless prey here. The moment he steps into the safe zone, I can kill him. You will perish because of your arrogance and ignorance, and I will, just as the prophecy foretold, become the hero who leads the players in slaying the Demon King. At that moment, a roadside NPC suddenly exclaims, "Isn't that Roland, the Demon King Slayer? I never imagined the Supreme Roland would visit us personally. What an honor. I heard you went to guard the Demon King's spawn point to eliminate him before he could grow. How did it go? Did you already tear him apart?" Those words nearly make Roland lose control of his bladder. He hurriedly signals the NPC to stop talking, but the NPC completely misses the hint. Only then does Shia realize this is Roland's identity. Seeing Shia's confusion, the NPC proudly starts explaining. This is humanity's hope. According to the prophecy, he is the one destined to kill the Demon King. Roland is drenched in sweat by now. Then another NPC approaches and says, "Lord Roland, Burt Gang has already been fully activated in the safe zone. By the way, Shia, you know about Burt Gang, right?" Before he can finish speaking, Roland forcefully cuts him off. He is utterly panicked at this point, terrified that Shia might snap. Are you really in such a hurry to see the world destroyed? Shia watches the scene with admiration. Their relationship really seems close. After scolding both NPCs, Roland gently persuades and then subtly tricks the protagonist into heading toward the system zone. Meanwhile, Shia is thinking to himself, it would be amazing if I could become a hero too, strong and kind, just like him. He has no idea that this kind person is already planning to take him down. Roland thinks, just one more step. Once he crosses this boundary, our righteous forces will claim victory. Shia reaches the edge of the barrier. Roland suddenly shoves Shia forward and shouts, "Burt Gang, activate. Experience the overwhelming power of the system." The protagonist is stunned. What system power? Yet the protagonist, standing inside the barrier, is completely unharmed. Roland freezes on the spot. How is it possible that Shia is an existence even the system cannot suppress? The moment Shia enters, Burt Gang, the system guarding the entire city, flares with a crimson-red light. Protagonist's overwhelming force was too much to handle, and it immediately caused countless cracks. Everyone inside the safe zone felt it, panic rising as they wondered what had just happened. "Are we under attack?" asked NPC-1 nervously. "It seems like the server just lagged for a moment," replied NPC-2 quickly, trying to calm everyone down. "Don't worry, it's just a minor lag. This is the safe zone and the Burt Gang protects us all. As long as we stay within its range, we're completely safe." By the way, was the Burt Gang always this shady? shape before. Either way, there's nothing to fear. Roland, humanity's strongest warrior, is here now. Saying that, he glanced over, expecting Roland to step forward and reassure the players. But in reality, only Roland fully understood what had just occurred. Is this the difference in power? Seeing that Roland seemed uneasy, the protagonist offered a comforting smile. It was just a lag. You actually looked scared. How adorable. Come on, Roland, pull yourself together. You're humanity's hope. The game is just getting started. But to Roland, it felt like outright mockery. Unable to contain himself, he demanded to know what Xia really wanted. Xia had initially expected to be guided through beginner quests, so he asked only for a small favor, to be allowed to stay in the safe zone. He still needed to learn some production skills first. Roland had braced himself for some terrifying demand, but instead, Xia simply wanted to learn production skills. Protagonist says to Roland, "You're supposed to be the hero leading players against the Demon King, right? Actually, I've dreamed of becoming a hero since I was a child, but because of a bug in my account, I can't level up or equip gear. Fate brought us together for a reason, and I can't just give up. Even if I pursue production skills first, I'll work hard to become a hero. Will you guide me?" Roland was stunned, unsure how to react. Did Xia really need to be this dramatic? In the end, Roland had no choice but to start teaching him production skills. But the NPC warned that the skill was extremely costly. When they noticed the amount of gold in Protagonist's backpack, their expressions changed entirely. They explained that, while the gold was enough to cover the basic learning cost, Xia would need far more to rapidly increase proficiency. With so much money, it would have been wiser to buy equipment and level up faster. Embarrassed to admit he couldn't level up or equip gear, Xia turned to Roland for help. Roland thought, first the Demon King humiliates me, now he wants me to pay for him. I wouldn't stoop that low, would I? Yet, remembering that he was humanity's hope and couldn't fail this early, he handed over all the cash he had. The NPC shook their head. It's still not enough. Xia looked at Roland once more. Roland removed his coat, worth 48 gold coins. Still not enough. Protagonist's gaze didn't waver. Roland offered his sword valued at 74 gold coins. Still insufficient. Roland then took off his shirt worth 99 gold coins. Still not enough. Now he was completely empty-handed. Don't you have a precious watch? NPC asked the Roland. It was a coming-of-age gift from his father, but in the end, Roland managed to gather the full tuition for Xia. At that moment, humanity's hope could only feel a profound frustration with the world. Following the NPC's guidance, the protagonist comes to the trading center, wanting to sell some equipment for money. At this moment, a beginner player is trading at the counter, taking out a mole tail worth 3 copper coins and selling all the equipment on him. Watching his sad figure, he sighs. No matter how the world changes, money is still the primary problem. Then the protagonist brings the equipment Roland gave him to the counter. The complete set of S-rank items directly stuns the counter NPC. The NPC also feels that these equipment pieces look very familiar. Suddenly remembering, aren't these from Roland, humanity's strongest warrior? Then the protagonist takes out the equipment that dropped from Belial. He knows the value of the previous equipment, so he activates his appraisal skill to check the value of the 2 items he takes out next. The result shocks him even more. These are actually the great demon Belial's horn and her chest ornament, which is practically a divine artifact. This draws dissatisfaction from the previous trader. My heavy armor only got 2 silver coins, but this thin piece of cloth you appraise at over 300 gold coins. What do you know? The thinner the cloves are, the more valuable they are. This is as soft as air, and it is secondhand. Truly a super rare treasure. Seeing that he wants to sell it, the NPC reminds him that this is endgame gear. He advises him not to sell this equipment. If he sells it to an NPC, it is equivalent to being recycled by the system and will no longer exist. But he discovers that it is already bound and cannot be traded with other players. The NPC then tells him he can keep it himself. Although wearing it is perverted, it would be an epic leap for oneself. Never mind whether it is perverted or not, he simply cannot equip gear at all. So, amid the NPC's helpless tears, he sells it for 955 gold coins. In this world where reality merges with the game, some people's goal is to defeat bosses. Some people's goal is to dominate the arena and stand at the pinnacle of players. Some people's goal is to explore maps and discover infinite possibilities. And his goal is to make a lot of money. Then he can hire people to carry him through team dungeons. Even without combat power, he can participate in defeating the final boss. Just thinking about it fills him with anticipation for the future. Within a few days, he maxes out the proficiency of the production skills he has just learned. After coming out, he tells the NPC that his progress is maxed. Since his beginner skills are maxed, he should prepare to face the nightmare final stage next. He walks past him and casually tells him that his Grandmaster level is also maxed. The NPC freezes in place after hearing this. So what if the account has bugs? From today on, he will take the production route to defeat the Demon King. Next is to handle that important matter of his. With that thought, he arrives at the party hall. Here, players can freely form parties and choose dungeons. A level 16 professional player catches his attention. His teammate suggests that fighting above their level is too hard and wants to add another person. One more person in the party means one more person splitting experience. Xia has calculated that that 4 people is optimal for this dungeon. Kinharan reminds them that if anyone holds them back, they will be kicked and replaced. Even his own sister is no exception. Xiao Yun quickly says she will work hard and asks them not to kick her. Just as they are about to depart, a pop-up catches his attention. Looking closely, it turns out to be the protagonist's party request. Thinking where did this newbie come from trying to leech, he decisively rejects it. The protagonist sends him another pop-up. Without thinking, he clicks reject again. Then the protagonist sends him multiple pop-ups in succession, which he rejects one by one. At this moment, the protagonist sends him a trade pop-up. He clicks accept to see what trick he is playing. The system panel shows that the protagonist has gifted him 10 gold coins. He looks at everything before him in disbelief. He has fought his way to only saving 2 gold and 57 silver until now, and now someone wants to directly gift him 10 gold coins. With this, he can not only learn all current combat skills, but also craft a complete set of excellent equipment, and even increase his leveling speed by more than 5 times. But how could anyone in this world possess 10 gold coins? Thinking about it, could it be that person ranked first on the leaderboard, the only one stronger than him? Or is this some new type of scam? But who could choose to refuse such a huge temptation? After he clicks confirm, the 10 gold coins are indeed deposited. The sudden excitement nearly makes him faint. At this moment, the protagonist sends him another party request. He gladly clicks accept. The protagonist explains that he wants to hire them to escort him to his old home to get something, because it has been occupied by level 18 moles, and he cannot go alone. Luju says they are climbing the rankings, and do not have time for this charity work. Chinharan immediately stands up and criticizes her. When did you become so heartless? For a professional team to go further, compassion is most important. At this moment, Lu only feels that the person before her is completely unfamiliar. After leaving the hall, Luju can't help but ask why he is leading the team to do such trivial work. Chinharan simply opens his backpack balance and shows it to her. When she sees that Chinharan has so many gold coins, she can't help but freeze. Did that newbie just give you all his gold coins? That means he has a treasure worth far more than 10 gold coins to retrieve. Kinharan's real goal is to get the protagonist unalive and take all his loot. After hearing their plan, Lu Ju says she has no objection, and Lu says that as long as they win, he doesn't care about the process. Xiao Yuan runs over, saying she has an objection, but no one cares. Soon, the group finishes off the surrounding small monsters and arrives at the protagonist's apartment building. Xia tells them his home is on the 6th floor. Chinharan firmly tells him that he will definitely escort protagonist safely to get his things. Then Xia walks toward the 6th floor in the middle of their formation. Xiao Yuan runs to the front, saying something feels wrong here. She has had a very strange feeling ever since entering this building. With their escort along the way, they quickly arrive at his door. Then, as the protagonist is about to take out his key to open the door, Chinharan also pulls out a dagger and leaps behind him. At precisely this moment, a mutant giant rat rushes down from the ceiling. Everyone quickly dodges backward after seeing it, while also feeling puzzled about why an A-rank monster would appear here. As team leader, Chinharan quickly counts, heads to see if anyone is injured, finally discovering that Xia, their employer, is missing. In the hole the rat smashed open, Xia has already fallen through. They fall silent for a moment. Oh no, the boss is going to fall and die. After hearing this, and Lu dashes toward the hole, ready to go down and save him. Chinharan tries to stop him, but doesn't make it in time. Coming to his senses, he realizes they still need to deal with this creature first. Generally speaking, 3 players could barely kill an A-rank monster of the same level. Though they had a chance against this monster, they would have to take great risks. Under the current circumstances, retreating was the best choice. But after waiting a long time, the monster hadn't attacked. It turned out it had only caught the Demon King's scent and urgently began searching everywhere for the source. Finally, it discovered that the person it had knocked down was the Demon King, and Xia thought mid-air, is this how it ends? If the protagonist died in a power fantasy story, he should awaken some kind of system, right? Finally, he fell to the ground. Not only was he not dead, he didn't even feel a bit of pain. But what now? In the end, he decided to wait for those experts above to come down and save him. The surrounding monsters, discovering that the Demon King had arrived, came out wanting to submit to him. The next second, the ones in front were pinned to the wall by 3 throwing knives, scaring the protagonist into standing frozen in place. He immediately raised his guard and asked who was there. Then he discovered it was Anlu, who had come down to save him. She found that there was a system air wall where he had fallen that couldn't be climbed and could only be ascended by the stairs she had come from. She also told him to lead the way. Her reason was that as an assassin character, how could she walk in front? That way, it wouldn't be mysterious at all. Helplessly, the protagonist had to do as she said. Who told her she was the expert? She said from behind she would definitely protect him, but thought to herself that men were such foolish creatures. He won't know until he dies. surprise, that her purpose is to steal the thing he's retrieving on this mission. After thinking this, she launched an attack at his back, and he just happened to open his backpack panel, taking out a roast chicken to give her to restore health. She couldn't believe her lethal strike was blocked by a roast chicken. He said, when I was leveling production skills, I made lots of food. Here, restore your health. Is this knife for eating chicken? Coming to her senses, she quickly pulled back, thinking, this man is off. He looks like a weak shorty, but not only can he pull out 10 gold coins, he also has top-tier cooking skills. The food he makes can actually act as a shield and completely block attacks. You should know that strike just now would be impossible for even a same-level warrior to take without injury. That roast chicken must be laced with deadly poison. But in the end, she still couldn't resist the temptation and started eating. By the time she came to her senses, she had already eaten most of it. She only felt a powerful force surging into her body. The next second, not only did her level increase by 5%, but even her skill level and class level increased as well. This wasn't roast chicken. This was clearly a cheat code. She once swore to follow the most powerful player. Anyone with this kind of power was far superior to that idiot, Keen Haran. She declared that from now on she belonged to him and would do anything he asked. Protagonist thought to himself, she's supposed to be a cold assassin, yet she pledges her loyalty for a roasted chicken. Does she have some weird obsession? He told her she just needed to protect herself properly. After all, he was the boss. Hearing this, she fell in love with him. Keen Haran takes advantage of the moment when the rat monster is stunned and launches a surprise attack. The strike does not even pierce the rat monster's skin, but after accidentally injuring the demon king, the creature feels it no longer deserves to live. Overwhelmed by guilt, the rat monster bites its own tongue and ends its life. Keen Haran never imagined that an elite monster would die from a single blow. After all, it was 6 levels higher than him. In the next instant, radiant light bursts around his body as the system announces that he has obtained the title Peerless Warrior. Once equipped, it boosts his health, attack, and defense by 3%. Just as he begins boasting about having one-shotted a level 22 monster, Xiao Yuan suddenly freezes, staring at something behind him in terror. A chill runs down his spine. Before he can even turn around, a massive paw sends him flying, instantly cutting his health in half. He cannot comprehend why a boss monster would appear in a level 16 dungeon. The cat demon lets out a lazy yawn before casually smashing both of them into the stone wall. Keen Haran quickly suggests that he will hold the monster's attention so they can escape. However, another paw immediately swings toward him. His defense proves completely useless against the cat demon. As his health plummets close to zero, he desperately shouts for Xiao Yuan to heal him. Xiao Yuan snaps out of her daze and casts a healing spell, but the moment he touches the ground, the cat demon is already there. Clearly amused, the creature allows him to regain a bit of health before swatting him away once more. Keen Haran never thought that even after becoming a peerless warrior, he would be played with so easily. Realizing the hopelessness of the situation, he tells Xiao Yuan to stop healing him and let him die. Even 5 players at the same level would struggle to defeat this boss monster. They need to retreat as fast as possible. But when they look back, Lu Jiu has already escaped to a distant rooftop. Sorry you two, we teamed up to win, not to die together. Although Xiao Yuan understands his reasoning, it still feels cruel. Just as the cat demon prepares to deliver the final blow to Keen Haran, Xia hears noises from inside that sound like his cat. He opens the door, and the protagonist discovers that it really is Bao Bao. Upon seeing its owner, Bao immediately shrinks back to its usual cat-sized form. The item Xia hired them to retrieve turns out to be Bao Bao itself. Keen Haran and Xiao Yuan are left completely speechless. They never imagined that the terrifying dungeon boss would be nothing more than a weakling's pet. Xia then goes to the kitchen to collect Bao Bao's supplies. Keen Haran mutters that although this development is beyond comprehension, at least they are saved. Thinking that Xia must have many secrets, it seems they need to keep him alive. At this moment, Keen Haran praises Enlu for saving Xia. You are different from certain people. You are my most trusted partner. Come here. I will reward you with a peerless warrior's hug. But how could he know that Enlu has been completely won over by the protagonist? The next second, Enlu draws her blade and slashes between them. Both collapse to the ground, blood spurting everywhere. How dare you have negative thoughts about Lord Xia? You deserve death. Keen Haran cannot understand why his former co-conspirator has turned against him, and Lu sees that he still dares to question, so she decides to stab twice more. You have no idea what kind of being you have offended. When Xia brings Bao Bao out, she finally understands that the treasure these people coveted is actually his pet cat. In her heart, she regards him as her master, so she bows to Bao Bao, saying, from now on, they are colleagues. He thinks this woman's tendencies are way too severe. When Xia turns around, he sees Keen Haran and Lu Jiu lying on the ground with their intestines spilled everywhere, having no idea what happened. He is shocked as hell, and Lu explains that she came out, saw them gravely injured, and wanted to end their suffering. Kin Haran suddenly sits up and shouts that he still had 2/3 of his health and asks what grave injury that was, and Lu responds that their intestines are now hanging out. It is too terrible. There is no saving them now. Xiao Yuan hurries forward to heal them both, but the healing cannot keep up with the bleeding rate because Enlu coated her blade with deadly poison beforehand. Kin Haran wonders if he, ranked second among humanity, will fall here. At this point, it seems too late for anything. At this moment, Xia takes out bandages made with his maxed production skills. He says that he will give it a try to fix them. The two on the ground stare at the bandages in Xia's hand, completely dumbfounded. These are rank ghost pattern bandages that restore 36,500 health over 8 seconds. Moreover, the first aid skill is the most expensive production skill to level up early on. One bandage heals as much as 5 healing classes of the same level combined. These ghost pattern bandages can even fully restore and level 80 tanks' health. However, cloth is extremely scarce in the early stages, so no one has the resources to level up the first aid skill. The protagonist believes that to survive in this world, life is the most important thing. Therefore, he leveled the first aid skill first. As Shisha speaks, he prepares to hand them the bandages. Kin Haran finally realizes how foolish his earlier thoughts were. Someone who can casually produce 10 gold coins, turn a dungeon boss into a pet, and possess master-level first aid skill. Yet he dared to harbor bad intentions towards such a being. And Lu initially wants to stop her lord, but then she thinks the protagonist wants to heal them only to kill them repeatedly, which perfectly satisfies her strange little obsession. The two tremble on the ground when they see this. When they do not move, Xia holds the bandages out in front of them. Kin Haran says he does not deserve these ghost pattern bandages. Xia says don't be silly. What's more important than life in this world? The boy's words move him to tears, but suddenly he receives a trade request. Xia was not planning to charge anything, but since they insist, he does not refuse. Xia then strips both of them of all their money. Don't worry. Since I've taken the money, I definitely won't let you die. The next second, he uses the ghost pattern bandages on them. Kin Haran feels a mysterious power wrapping around him and senses that these bandages do not just bind wounds, they also heal his filthy, twisted soul. The price is all the money he had on him. Suddenly, their levels increase by 5%, and their class tiers also advance. Now, not only are their injuries healed, but they have new bodies and higher levels. Kin Haran thinks these must be game modifiers disguised as bandages. Then all three kneel down, completely won over by the hero. Xia tells them they still owe him money with interest at 35% per year, and Lu imagines her master wants to torment them through high-interest loans. Such a dirty yet exciting method. When they leave the apartment, the system announces that our team has cleared the dungeon, marking us as the first team in the world to do so. The broadcast goes out to the world channel. Xia stares at the notifications, completely stunned. He turns to the others and asks, did we just went into a dungeon? Kin Haran, unsure of what the protagonist is thinking, simply replies yes. He adds casually, didn't you put the dungeon boss on your head as a pet? The announcement quickly reaches Roland, humanity's top fighter. As he looks closer, he notices Xia's name. He is utterly bewildered, unable to comprehend why the Demon King would clear his own dungeon. Back in the safe zone, the team draws a crowd, celebrated for being the first in history to clear a dungeon. Soon, Kin Haran, ranked second on the player leaderboard, is recognized. He is the professional player known for dominating countless game leaderboards and being a 3-time WCG champion. Upon hearing this, Kin Haran confidently displays the title he earned in the dungeon. You have sharp eyes, but clearing the dungeon was not my achievement. He is about to introduce Xia to the crowd, but a loud shout interrupts, and Liu immediately raises her guard and demands to know who is approaching. From the crowd emerges Lord Roland. He appears to be here to congratulate us on clearing the dungeon, but he is careful. He nearly let Kin Haran reveal too much. If the Demon King's true identity were exposed in public, everyone would fall silent. Clearly, he, humanity's hope, has once again saved the world. Roland pauses to explain his purpose. You players are exceptionally outstanding. On behalf of the NPCs, I grant you the highest honors and congratulations. He then produces a small whip. Please, brave warriors, follow me. I will personally present you with your medals. Seeing that Roland only leads the 4 of them, Xia realizes he hasn't really done anything. He just paid them, so he probably doesn't deserve a medal. Roland guides them into a corner alley and punches the wall while talking incessantly. Do you want to die and see what it feels like? This frightens Kin Haran into silence, making him realize that humanity's hope has quite the intimidating personality. If you're excited for the next part, leave a comment and I'll do my best to bring it to you as soon as possible.